Conservative New Media peeps, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion, and Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, is joining by phone, and we have Jeremy Lin, Linsanity News! NBA fans and Jeremy Lin fans all around the world, what is up? Oh my goodness. We predict, first of all personal opinion only. We're not alleging facts, not cases, persons, all for entertainment purposes only. Please check the disclaimers. Paul, we told the fans all around the world what was up. We told the Jeremy Lin haters last year what was up. And what we told them is that a couple things. We told them, number one, that Jeremy Lin and Linsanity is totally real. And in my personal opinion, that was proven absolutely 100% correct. Number two, we told them that Jeremy Lin was not just a star, but a superstar in the NBA. And in my personal opinion, with this offer, we have definitely been proven correct as well, along with Jeremy Lin's fantastic play and turning the whole Knicks around and all that type of stuff in our personal opinion. And number three, we also said that Jeremy Lin was going to get paid, and I believe with this whole news out of the NBA here, with the Houston Rockets offer to Jeremy Lin, we have been proven totally correct on that, no question about it. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a massive deal from the Houston Rockets for Jeremy Lin, and now it's up to the New York Knicks, because Lin is a restricted free agent, to match that offer. Paul, give us the information, bring us up to speed on what's going on with Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, here's what's going on, fans. Jeremy Lin is expected to sign an offer sheet with the Houston Rockets that would be worth somewhere around $28 million or so, or $30 million over 4 years. So somewhere with $7.5 million per year. So the days of sleeping on the brother's couch are long gone. Now, I think that Houston, and we've talked about this off camera, Houston understands the value of players such as Lin because they had Yao Ming. And they understand how much notoriety and value that somebody that's an overseas superstar like Jeremy Lin is can be for their team. I remember reading about when Yao Ming was with the Rockets, I remember reading that players like Shane Battier, who was playing for the Rockets at this time, guys like him were getting shoe contracts in Asia just because of how popular Yao was, and so all the fans watching over there liked the rest of the team. So it's very hard to underestimate how valuable Jeremy Lin is.
We're talking global markets. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're talking big-time money for the franchise and for all the other players around him. That being said, what I'm hearing is that the New York Knicks will match any offer for Jeremy Lin because I think they understand how valuable he's been for the Knicks in New York and globally. And Madison Square Garden, which I believe owns the Knicks,
MSG stock,
publicly traded stock. And their value and the value of the stock I know it went up last year during the whole Linsanity run. Next week, I think that Jeremy Lin is able to actually sign the Rockets offer sheet on July 11th, which is next Wednesday, I believe. And then after that, if Jeremy Lin signs that offer sheet, I think the Knicks will have like 3 days to match the offer sheet. My understanding is that Jeremy Lin is a restricted free agent, which means that his team, his current team, meaning the Knicks, has several days to match whatever offer is put out there by another team. I expect that the New York Knicks will match that offer sheet and will keep Jeremy Lin. And now the Knicks have, I believe that they've signed Jason Kidd. So you have a perfect situation where you have a great player like Jason Kidd, Hall of Famer, can come in and tutor and help out Jeremy Lin get to the next level, and Linsanity could just get moving all over again.
I love this. There's no question about it in my personal opinion here. We're talking, like you said, we're talking about global markets. We're talking about worldwide NBA fans. And I believe that Jeremy Lin, in my personal opinion, speaks to all the NBA fans all around the world out there. You're talking about someone that was able to be a fantastic student, Harvard, everything like that. We're talking about hard work. We're talking about, you know, a story, an underdog story of someone that was, you know, on the bench, on the brother's couch, everything like that, and now a superstardom. And in my personal opinion, I am so happy for Jeremy Lin. This is justice, in my personal opinion. This is excitement. This is a win. This is like Jeremy Lin's own personal championship. Jeremy Lin is going to get paid, dude. Jeremy Lin's going to get paid because what he did last year was phenomenal from a sporting standpoint, but also from an entertainment standpoint of fans all around the world. And for all the haters out there, all the Jeremy Lin haters out there, what do you say now? You say nothing because you're muscled, because guess what? Jeremy Lin is going to get paid. He's going to get paid, in my personal opinion, superstar type of money. Maybe not the biggest contract or anything like that. We're not saying that. But we're saying $7 million a year is a huge jump up from the, what did he have? Like $800,000 contract, I believe, Paul, or something like that? I can't even remember what it was. But I mean, we're talking about a huge multiple of what he was getting before. And now Jeremy Lin, I mean, and think about that. You know, you can talk all you want. Guess what? In my personal opinion, owners and general managers in the NBA are only going to pay for real talent. And they are saying with the checkbook that Jeremy Lin, Paul, in my personal opinion, has superstar talent.
I totally agree. Look, what you said is right. I don't remember the exact contract that he had, but it was very minuscule compared to what he's going to be getting. And look, Jeremy Lin, as we know, I mean, last year, before the Linsanity run, he was going to get cut again. The Knicks, were talking about, they were going to cut him. Now you're going from that whole situation to this guy's going to be, you know, really getting paid, really be setting up his identity, his brand. We know that Jeremy Lin got the knee surgery there at the end of the season, playoffs, or right near the end of the regular season. As long as Jeremy Lin is healthy and stays reasonably healthy going forward, I think he's going to make enormous amounts of money because he's a talented player, and there's just a fan base that already really likes him tremendously, and he's a young guy, and I think he's only going to improve, and things are looking very bright in Lin's future.
Well, let's talk about those two things right there, right? I mean, do you believe that the Houston Rockets, I mean, because, you know, Jeremy Lin, you know, I follow him on Facebook and stuff like that, and all that, and I know a lot of other people do too, because Jeremy Lin is awesome. And I remember he put a post up there, I believe, a while ago after the surgery and stuff, and thanking the fans, everything like that. Don't you believe that with this contract offer of this magnitude and this many years, that somehow the Houston Rockets probably have some information on the health and rehabilitation of Jeremy Lin? And is this some kind of, if you will, indirect vote of confidence onto Jeremy Lin's rehabilitation and his health as an NBA player? That's number one. Number two, if you assume that the New York Knicks will match, and I assume that too, I don't think there's any way they let Jeremy Lin go. I just don't see that happening. If you assume that the New York Knicks do match that offer, and now Jeremy Lin comes in with that kind of confidence and that kind of financial support, if you will, vote of confidence, does that change the dynamics on that team? Do you believe that Jeremy Lin gets, if you will, extra support, extra confidence, extra what's the right word here? Force, if you will, within that locker room and within that organization? In other words, does he get the respect now, and that he's seen maybe at an equal level as a Melo, and possibly even maybe slightly higher as a leader of this team? Talk to me about that potential dynamic there, Paul.
Well, what you said first, I think, is right. Houston Rockets would not be looking to sign Jeremy Lin for the amount of money and the amount of years that we're talking about here, unless they had probably pretty good intelligence saying that, yeah, Jeremy Lin's going to be fine off of this surgery, his knee's going to be okay, his health is good. That's a very good point, and that's I think you're probably right about that. In terms of his standing with the team, now, Look, there were some people that felt that Mike Woodson, who is now the permanent Knicks head coach, who finished off the year last year after Mike D'Antoni resigned, that maybe he wasn't fully on board with Jeremy Lin. Certainly, this type of a contract, this type of a commitment from the Knicks would say, yeah, look, Jeremy Lin will have elevated standing, will have more security in terms of his role and everything. If you're bringing in Jason Kidd, like I said before, is definitely a Hall of Famer, but Jason Kidd is pretty old. I mean, Jason Kidd, I believe, is 39, 40 years old. This is not somebody that you're going to be relying on for heavy minutes every night, so you've got to be looking for other players. The Knicks have talent at the guard position, Iman Shumpert, but unfortunately Iman Shumpert is coming off a very serious knee injury. I think it was an ACL in the playoffs. He's not going to be ready at the start of the year, I'm sure. And so, yeah, I think Lin's standing will be elevated. I don't know if he'll have the type of leadership role that Carmelo Anthony does, just because I know that the Knicks management, or so I've heard, is very much behind Carmelo, and I think Mike Woodson is very much behind Carmelo. I don't know if Jeremy Lin will have that standing, but he certainly should have elevated standing. It's definitely the management saying, this is our guy going forward. So I do think that he will have more ability to be a leader, more support expressed. So I do think that he will have better position on the team next year.
Well, so here's how I think about that. There's no question Carmelo Anthony is an absolute NBA superstar. You know, one of the top 5, maybe even the top 3 scorers in the league right now, in my personal opinion. At the same time, in my personal opinion, Jeremy Lin, when he has the rock and he's running the offense, is the best person to run that offense, is the best person to basically lead the team, because everyone gets into a scoring mode. I believe he lifts the play of everyone else. So you can't just look at what Jeremy Lin's stats are, and I think he has that kind of a Tim Tebow, in my personal opinion, kind of effect on the team. And the third thing I would dare say, and no disrespect to Carmelo Anthony and how amazing Carmelo Anthony is as a player, as an asset to the New York Knicks franchise, I believe that Jeremy Lin is more valuable. And again, you go back to the MSG stock. I mean, that is one market indication of that. You know, Carmelo Anthony was with the team and was starting and was a superstar before Linsanity even started. And then we saw Linsanity, you know, and I believe Linsanity began when Carmelo Anthony was out and he was hurt. And enough said, there you go. So, I mean, how do you square all that up, Paul?
Yeah, look, it's a very good point. I think it's a philosophical thing. I agree with you. I think that the Knicks offense is at its best when Jeremy Lin is running it, because what you said, I think, is right on. When Jeremy Lin is running the offense, everybody's involved, whereas there were concerns that when Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony are the focus of the offense, it becomes more isolation-oriented, and guys are standing around. Whereas with Jeremy Lin handling the ball, everybody knows they're going to get a chance to touch it. And Tyson Chandler, if he runs the court, Jeremy Lin's going to get on the ball. It's going to be alley-oops for Landry Fields. Everybody's going to get a spot and a shot. I think Mike Woodson's going to really have to work to integrate that kind of pick-and-roll, Jeremy Lin heavy offense. I know Mike Woodson in the past has been thought of as more of a kind of isolation offense coach, but he did show down the stretch last year that he can mix it up, use some of the offensive approach that D'Antoni used, and I do think that now with Lin coming back probably with increased contract and increased standing, there will be more of an effort or more of a need to make sure that Lin is getting a steady dose of being the leader of the offense. I think that's definitely in the Knicks' best interest.
Now, maybe that's the best way to put it. I mean, maybe we just had to talk this through and get to the final answer here, in my personal opinion. Maybe the real answer is, at a minimum, with this contract and with this situation and with Linsanity coming back, and particularly, in my personal opinion, maybe given, you know, some of the stuff that happened with Stoudemire there towards the end, everything like that, that maybe it's less of a question of who's the #1 top leader of the team between, you know, Melo and Stoudemire and Jeremy Lin and everything like that. Maybe it's just as simple as, at a minimum, with this kind of contract and this kind of situation, that team, whether it be Melo or Woodson or whatever, has to accommodate Jeremy Lin, has to factor him in, has to put him in the equation at all times in their overall scheme and plan. And maybe, absolutely, that someone like Carmelo takes that final shot. But you have to accommodate Jeremy Lin and let Jeremy Lin and Linsanity do what they're going to do, Paul.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jeremy Lin needs to have a chance to really play a full season and run this offense. He improved a lot, I thought, in just a short time he played last year. We're saying, oh, he can't go to his left, he can't do this, he can't do that. I mean, coming in last season, people thought he couldn't shoot. So, I mean, he showed that he improved that dramatically. I think now with the full off season, where he's not worried about is he going to actually make and stick with the team, he's not worried about money. Hopefully he's not worried about his health with his knee. He can just focus on improving and becoming the kind of star that I think that he's capable of becoming. So I do think that this will be a good sign that the Knicks are going to give him more of a chance to really run the offense and be the guy. And I think it's going to be great to watch.
This is fantastic. I need the Jeremy Lin fans all around the world. I need all the NBA fans to weigh in on this. New York Knicks fans, how you feeling about this? Houston Rocket fans, how are you feeling about this? Do you feel like you're going to have a chance to get Jeremy Lin? And let's go back to the Jeremy Lin and Linsanity fans. Aren't you guys happy, like we are happy, that Jeremy Lin is going to really get paid and is going to be recognized for the NBA superstar that, in my personal opinion, he is, and in Paul's personal opinion as well? And where are you at on this? There's so much to talk about. What's going to happen with the Knicks? What are the different moves that are going to be made? Lots to talk about. You need to weigh in right now. In my personal opinion, this is huge news. It's huge, great news for all the Jeremy Lin fans around the world out there. Tell me what's going on. Give me the comments below. Please subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion. That is Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We are Conservative New Media. Please rate this video up. Also, please post it to your social networking sites. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.